Welcome to the PI Podcast, your destination for everything NFL, discussing the latest news and providing in-depth analysis of every NFL game. And now, here are your hosts, Ian and Tesh.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the PI Podcast. If it's a little crooked, the stand's kind of broken. So, yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Figure it out, hopefully. But, yeah. What's up, Elite?
Uno, Elite. So, guys, it's the first bye weeks for your team. So, if you're doing fantasy teams, make sure you're going in, changing up your lineups. Huge news, DeAndre Swift was just upgraded to out. So if you have DeAndre Swift like I do, make sure you take him and plug somebody else in, which kind of sucks because literally everybody on my lineup got a bye week this week. But it's on life support, but we're in there. I've got some sleepers that I think will play really well. Some guys that you want to look out for. As a Jags fan, Travis Etienne's about to take off. He's not a sleeper. He's about to take off. I'm telling you, he's due for it. It's been 6 weeks of him getting some nice yardage, and I think today against this Giants defense who struggled in the first three quarters, Travis Etienne's a good guy to start today. And then as a Falcons fan, you're going to want to look at players like Caleb Huntley,
Tyler Algier,
who might not be picked up yet. Tyler Algier has probably been picked up in most of your fantasy leagues, but Caleb Huntley, he's a sleeper. And if you're doing DraftKings or you're doing your lineups every week, Caleb Huntley's a super cheap option who has a potential to get 10-plus points. So keep an eye on those guys.
Damn, it's Cooper Kupp, Bills defense, Josh Allen, and Diggs, and they're all out. Damn.
Kenyon Drake over Williams. Actually, that's not a bad move. Kenyon Drake had a huge game last week against the Giants, which is why I think Travis Etienne today will have a big game against the Giants. But DeAndre Swift being out could potentially have Williams having a good game. He plays very well when DeAndre Swift's out.
Yeah, and the Ravens are going against the Browns. They've been allowing over 100 yards rushing the last two games, so that's definitely a good way to start as well.
I think you're safe starting either one of them. That's going to be a preference. Williams, the Lions. Oh, they're playing the Patriots, right?
No, they're playing the Cowboys.
The Cowboys' defense is stacked. So that's something you need to think of. That defense is super tough against the run and the pass. So that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a real tough one for Williams. But if they can drive down the field, Williams is going to get all the touches on the goal line. Take that with a grain of salt. So.
It is the Cowboys defense. They're going to get a lot of pass rush. So it's one of the more interesting games of week of the early slate.
So guys, while we do the podcast, I'm going to be putting in some lineups. I'll let you guys know what lineups I'm doing. We'll talk about our predictions. So I'm on DraftKings, right? Oh, I forgot it's up here. I'm just going to put in some random lineups. If you guys want to tail it, that's fine. We'll talk about it as we go on. Protect will start with the game list because we're going to try to be done by 12:30.
Yeah. So week 7 started off hot with the Cardinals and Saints. That game was fun to watch. A lot of touchdowns. Two big mistakes from the Saints, especially 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. Receiver dropped the ball, went into the hands of the Cardinals defender in a pick 6, and then Andy Dalton threw another pick 6 with under 2 minutes, so they were down 20-14 at halftime, and they never recovered. They did a good job coming back from the deficit they were at, because at one point they were at 35-21. They were losing by a lot, and they kept inching, but then Arizona kept scoring with the big help of DeAndre Hopkins. his return was so huge for Kyler and Murray. That offense looked better than it has been, and DeAndre Hopkins is a big reason because of it. So the first game of the day that's on the list is Browns and Ravens.
Again, we talked about the Browns allowing a lot of rushing yards, and the Ravens are a very good rushing team. But also, Lamar has shown this year so far that he has the ability to throw the ball better than he has been. Me personally, I've got the Ravens here, and it's a tough divisional game, so it could go either way. A lot of those statistics go out the window when it's a division game because they play each other twice a year. They know each other. They know each other's tendencies. But I like the Ravens' defense against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and I like Lamar against this Browns team.
Yeah, I'm going to Ravens. The Browns have been kind of struggling against a run game. And the Ravens, they love the run game, not as much as previous years, but they'll still be running heavy. And the Browns have struggled with it. And Jacoby Brissett, he just needs to do his job again, and he can keep it close. The Ravens, they can't blow a lead in the fourth quarter. That's been one of the weak sides of them this year, and something to look at if you're watching the game. Don't turn it off in the fourth quarter because that's the quarter that teams can come back on the Ravens. They've been outscored 42-16 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough matchup for both teams. I don't think there's going to be I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be kind of a lower scoring game, but I think they're going to be wasting a lot of time running the football both sides.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, I think he's, even though he didn't have the best game yesterday, I mean, I still think he's a better option than James Winston because James Winston is just playing horrible. And I just don't think it's time for him. I think it's time's over in New Orleans, and he's not going to get a shot. He's probably going to be a backup, hopefully, for the rest of his career. Next up, we got the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Straightforward game. The Panthers are in a rebuild. They traded Christian McCaffrey away to the 49ers. So their main weapon on offense is gone. And I just don't see how they're going to be able to win this game against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have been struggling with Tom Brady in that offense. But, hey, at least if the Panthers defense can stop Tom Brady to 3 and outs and they heavily run the ball or they at least get the ball to their main receivers, they have sort of a chance, but I actually don't see it happening.
Yeah, that's a really tough matchup for the Panthers. This defense is still has that identity as a good defense. It's just Tom Brady needs to pick up his game, to be honest. That whole offense as a general just isn't clicking like it used to. But this is a great game for them to bounce back on. I've got the Buccaneers as well.
And then next up, we have the Falcons and the Bengals. This one's probably the best game of the early slate. Bengals are looking like kind of starting to look like the old Bengals again with that offense. Not as explosive because teams are playing better defense towards the big plays, so they're not allowing Joe Burrow to go deep with Jamar Chase. They're kind of playing it underneath, making him take all the checkdowns, making him take the shorter routes. And that's how they're winning. They're 3-3. Falcons are 3-3. Falcons been running the ball a lot. Marcus Mariota played an amazing game last week. So their game plan, if it sticks, if they keep it going, they get over 100 yards. The Falcons are going to win this game. The Bengals are without DJ Reader and the other starting D tackle as well. So they're really, really hurt at D tackle spot and very thin at the defensive line.
Will CMC start? CMC will definitely get reps. I don't know if he's going to be listed as the starter. But I will say that Jeff Wilson fantasy owners need to think about trading him fairly quickly while his value's still out there because CMC, for what they gave up to get CMC, he will be starting very soon. If he's not starting today, he will be starting next week 100%.
And he'll be getting 90% of the carries.
Yeah. But CMC is going to have a whole new dynamic to that offense, I think. Jeff Wilson's been very good, to be honest, this year. But Christian McCaffrey's on a different level when healthy. So CMC fantasy owners should be ecstatic about this. But Jeff Wilson fantasy owners, they're kind of in a tough spot right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Falcons over the Bengals here. I think it will be a growing fight with the Bengals, and that's gonna be their downside.
Last week we didn't actually upload the video, but we did our picks.
Oh, I uploaded it yesterday.
Oh, was that the one you uploaded?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I picked the 49ers to beat the Falcons. The Falcons proved me wrong. So I'm not going to do that again today. I'm going to go with the Falcons this week against the Bengals.
You changed your pick?
Yeah. However, one thing to note about the Bengals, Joe Burrow, since week 2, 10 touchdowns to 1 interception.
Yes, sir.
He's been balling.
CMC Elite, he's going to be used not as much this week because he just got there, but they're going to be, they have some red zone packages for him. So if you have CMC, might be a good thing to start him because he's going to be using red zone packages to make it even get a touchdown today.
Yep.
Falcons upset, yes sir, Elite.
That's what we're hoping for today. We love upsets over here.
Yeah, with 6.5 underdog, then I think we'll cover. So Falcons are 6-0 against the spread. So if you guys are betting, bet Falcons to cover the spread.
Yeah.
That's because they ain't played the Steelers since week 1. Yeah. Oh my god. Next up, we got the Lions and the Cowboys.
I think this is going to be a fairly good game, actually. Dak attack is back. I personally think this is a good bounce back game for the Lions as well because they're playing against Dak Prescott, who's going to be rusty, I think. I don't think he comes out and throws 400 yards. I think they keep it on the ground a lot, do some short passes. So this is a good test for this Lions defense who's been terrible. But this is also a very good test against this Lions offense who's been awesome other than last week. They need to put a full game together and beat this Cowboys team who's got a lot of momentum. Even though they lost last week, it was a tough battle. The fact that their backup quarterback went in and won them all the games to keep them relevant, they're going to be very ecstatic to see Dak back. I think Cowboys win this one.
Yeah, Ali, the thing about this year that I love so much is the parity in the NFL. Like, every week, there's been so many games. It's an NFL record now. Like, there hasn't been a season where these games are so close. Like, 6 points, that's how close these games are. And any team can win any given Sunday. That's the thing about this season. Any team can win. And it was just an amazing performance from the Steelers against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was awesome. The Lions, they're coming off a bye week. But before that, they got shut out by the New England Patriots. They were the number 1 offense until they got shut out by the Patriots. They're going to want to be coming out firing on all cylinders, keeping that number 1 offense still going. And the Cowboys are going to be there with their pass rush. They're going to be upset after that loss against the Eagles. Dak's going to be back. I see the Lions being able to score some points, but I think that pass rush is going to be too much for them, and I think Dak being back is going to help Cowboys more than it hurt them. So I see the Cowboys winning this game.
I also have the Cowboys as well. Like I said, they're the complete team, especially with Dak coming back.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, Hutchinson has been playing well, but he doesn't have any help on that defensive line other than him. Yeah, you could say that some of the Romeo Quara or anything like that, he's doing okay, but they don't have that line that the Cowboys have.
Yeah, this is going to be a good test for this D line of the Lions because this Cowboys offensive line is fairly good. I mean, they're one of the best in the NFL. So I say that about every year Dak gets hurt somehow.
Yeah.
So, but they are still a very good unit. They have weapons all over, so they have the ability to throw the ball quickly. The Lions are going to have to get after Dak. Definitely going to have to get after Dak.
Okay, next, Giants and Jaguars.
Choo.
An interesting matchup. Giants are 5-1. Jaguars are coming off a loss against the Indianapolis Colts, where they allowed over 400 yards of total offense. And just not an overall good performance from them. If their pass rush can get to Daniel Jones with a susceptible O-line for Daniel Jones, it's going to look a lot closer than what people are thinking. And it might even look like that Cowboys game where they were just terrorizing Daniel Jones. So the Jaguars pass rush can keep it up, and their secondary play as well. They can be in this game.
Jags upset elite set. Actually, Jags are favored in this game. The Jags have been favored in their last 3 games. So the Jags are favored to win by, I think, 3 or 6. I can't remember. Here's the facts from this game. The Giants have been terrible in the first 3 quarters. The Jaguars play their best football in the first 3 quarters. They've lost all their games in the fourth quarter against the Commanders. They lost in the fourth quarter against Colts. They lost in the fourth quarter against the Texans. They just haven't been able to play a full game of football. But Daniel Jones has really put the team on his back kind of in the fourth quarter. So what's going to happen? The Jaguars are going to have to go up by at least 2 scores early to win this football game. Another thing about this game, the Giants D-line, interior D-line, is super good. And that's the weakness of the Jaguars. I think Trevor's going to get sacked quite a bit today. We've got a lot of holes in the middle of the field on our O-line, and that's where the Giants have a lot of pressure. Thibodeau can come in. It's just not looking pretty for the Jaguars O-line against this D-line. However, the Giants, if you watched last week, struggled mightily against Kenyon Drake and the run early on. The Jaguars have to put the football on the ground. Doug Peterson's been going away from the run way too much, and that's the kind of coach he is, so I'm not faulting him there. But come on now. You got to put the football on the ground, make James Robinson and Travis Etienne work this defense, and then let Trevor sling it every once in a while. But that's the only way the Jags are winning is if they put the football on the ground the whole game.
Yeah. Also, the main thing for Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence has been having some up and down kind of games. Like, he'll have a really good game, then go back to normal, go up. Last week he went 20 for 22, had a really good game. And this week he's going to have to do the same. He's going to have to at least be something close to that to be able to get a chance to win this game. Also, Etienne and Robinson's going to have to help him out. I get the Giants in this one just by 3 points, but the Jaguars should be able to.
This one's one of the biggest.
Get it close.
This one's the closest game for me out of all of them so far. Colts and Titans are going to be a close game too, I think. But I've got the Jags. I went against the Jags last week and I was correct, but I'm going to have to go with my Jaguars today. ETN breakout game. It's got to happen. I've got him in a couple lineups today because it's got to happen. He had a good game last week. He had 100 scrimmage yards last week, but they took the ball out of ETN's hand in the fourth quarter and put it right back into Trevor's. And that's not how you win football games. When it's working on the ground, keep it on the ground.
Yeah. What's up, Tim? How's it going, Tim? Next up, we got Packers and Commanders. Aaron Rodgers, they've been kind of struggling a little bit. They've lost 2 of their last 3. They're 3-3. Commanders have been struggling as well. They got that Thursday night win last week against the Bears. I see the Packers stepping up and coming back and getting back on track this week with Aaron Rodgers in that offense. Commanders, they're going to have to play well. They're going to have to start getting their offense going again with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is out. They're going to have to get it going with Taylor Heineke, and can he do that? I don't know. I'm taking the Packers here. It's going to be tough for the Commanders these next 6 weeks.
I'm taking the Packers here as well. But Heineke, man, I like what I've seen from him. I didn't really understand the going after Carson Wentz. So I hope he has a big game. But like you said, the Packers are the Packers, man. Like, granted, I don't have them doing much noise in the playoffs. I have them barely making the playoffs. But they're not going to lose to teams like the Commanders. That's just not going to happen. So I'm going with the Packers here. And I think it's going to be like a 2-score game. I don't think it's going to be that close.
Next up, we got the Colts and the Titans. They already played once this year. The Titans won by a touchdown. I think it's going to be another very good game. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. It's a division matchup. I think Matt Ryan and that offense is starting to come alive. And that Titans team has started to come alive already, and they have Derrick Henry. We're going to see if Derrick Henry has that big performance like he did in Indianapolis a few weeks ago. And I'm going to go to Colts here. I think they'll beat I think they're going to win. I think their offense is starting to come alive. I think their defense can complement that as well. I love Derrick Henry and Titans. I think they're going to be struggling, though, with their defense at the end of the day.
LD, yes, we can do a video on the Jets. We'll do a video on the Jets before. We'll probably make it. We'll watch their game today, and then we'll talk about them. Probably do a video tonight or something. So this is the battle of the two best running backs in the NFL right now: Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry. Both of them are coming off injuries. Derrick Henry's was earlier in the season or last year, but Jonathan Taylor's been out the last couple games. Derrick Henry still haven't really put it on like we've been watching previous years. So this is going to be something to watch. Titans need Burks back. Yeah, that's true. It's going to be Derrick Henry versus Jonathan Taylor today, I think. Unless the Colts have really shocked me by how much they've been throwing the football. Granted, last week it worked to perfection. But we need to see Jonathan Taylor start getting the ball again because he's a huge part of that offense. And to not use him is crazy. So I've got the Colts winning this one as well. I don't know. The Titans just don't have as many weapons to me. And Michael Pittman just had a nice game last week. Alec Pierce starting to show out. Mo Alley Cox has been playing good football. Jonathan Taylor's coming back. And their third string running back did decent last week. So, I mean, they've got weapons all over the place. And this offensive line played very good last week. We've been talking about how the Colts offensive line just hasn't been that great. It was good last week. And their D-line got to Trevor Lawrence last week as well. So, I've got the Colts winning this one, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be super helpful for the Titans when they come back. And yeah, Matt Ryan was 42 of 53 or 54 last week. Yeah. And
insane.
It just went off. And that last play, when they could have just ran it and took the field goal, gave Trevor and the offense a minute left, they just were like, no, we're winning. We want to win this game. Throw it up to Alec Pierce, and he got it and beat his man. That was such a risky play call, but a very, very good play call.
Yeah, it worked to perfection. Like I said, their team's starting to come together. Like we expected it to be this way at the beginning of the year. Didn't happen, but we know the potential is there. So I've got the Colts winning this one in Tennessee.
Next up, we got probably one of the easier matchups, the Raiders and Texans. The Texans defense has been playing well. They just got their first win of the season a couple of weeks ago against the Jaguars. Their defense is really what's been coming alive. I'm going to go Raiders here. I like their pass rush against Davis Mills. And the big reason is Jonathan Grenard, one of their biggest pass rushers, is out today.
One thing I'll say about the Texans, Nico Collins has started to play pretty well. They still got Brandon Cooks. They do have Damian Pierce, who one of my favorite rookie running backs right now. My next one would be up there in New York for the Jets. But Damian Pierce, to me, has been really putting the load on his back. And Davis Mills has been playing okay football. I think he's playing about how you would expect a 6th-round draft pick last year to play. But the Raiders, they're starting to click a little bit. I mean, they played a very good game against the Chiefs. They lost in the final seconds, so you can't fault them there. I've got the Raiders winning this one.
Bailey Zappi, if Mac Jones is healthy enough to play, they're going to start Mac Jones. If he's not, Bailey Zappi's going to start.
From what I hear, it's going to be Mac Jones.
Yeah. It's looking like Mac Jones is healthy today, and he's going to get the start. But if for some reason they want to let him rest a little more, they're going to put Zappi.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones is projected to start. Let me look that up. I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
I'm taking the Raiders, but I love how Damian Pierce is running the football. He's running angry. I mean, it's just crazy how angry he ran against the Jaguars on that one run near the goal line. He broke 7 Jaguars tackles and somehow almost made it to the 1-yard line.
It would have been the next best run since Beastquake.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally ran over everybody. If he would have scored, what's up, Antonio? If he would have scored, that would have been insane. I would have cried, probably.
Yeah, Zappi's been playing very, very well, Elite, and his offense is working with him.
Yeah.
But I think Mac Jones being back, Bill Belichick knows what he's doing, and I think Mac Jones is going to play well. I think he's going to play well today, even with
today. It's a good team for Mac Jones to go up against. To be honest, it's the Bears, whose defense has actually been better than what their offense has been. So this is a good game for Mac Jones to get back into. It's not like an elite defense, but it's not a bad defense either. So this is a perfect throwback game for Mac Jones to come in and prove he can do the job. Because if he doesn't play well against Chicago, I think Zappi's going right back in.
Waller's out, yeah. Waller's out for the Raiders today.
Devontae Adams better start him.
And so Antonio, we've been kind of making some videos, whatnot, kinda. We've been off a little bit podcast wise. We're gonna figure out a schedule for that, so don't worry about that. We'll figure that out and let you guys know. Coming up for our last few games, we got the Jets and Broncos. Russell Wilson is out today. He has a torn hamstring. So his availability even next week is in jeopardy as well. The Jets defense is playing very, very well, and they have the draft picks to be playing like this. They have Ahmad Garner, they have Quinn Williams, they have Quincy Williams. They got Jermaine Johnson this year as well. Their defense playing lights out. I love what they're doing on defense. They've been beating some really good teams that you think they wouldn't beat. And the Broncos, their offense is struggling. See if Brett Ripien can do his thing and get that offense alive, but it's going to be tough against the Jets defense.
The absolute worst thing that could happen today is the Broncos look good. It's already looking like a bad trade. If Ripien goes out there and beats this Jets team who's looked pretty damn good, yeah, I can't even imagine.
I'm going to go Jets here. I like the Jets in this one. Their defense
I like the
is playing
Jets
really
too,
well,
yeah.
and I think their offense is complementing them. Their offense isn't playing amazing, but they're doing a job in their run game.
The Jets, to me, are very similar to the 2017 Jags. Not as elite as their defense was, but it's a good defense with an okay-ish offense, and that will get you far in the NFL. Now, granted, I think right now we're in a league where offense wins championships, unfortunately. We see it all the time where if you don't have a good offense, you're not making it far. I mean, especially in the playoffs, which is why I'm really high on the Eagles right now. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and their offense is the best in the NFL right now. So, damn, the Eagles are looking really nice right now.
Yeah, Antonio, the Vikings are looking good, and their schedule isn't as tough as many others. I see them winning a bunch of games this year.
Antonio, we were talking about it. Vikings. I told you, first place in the NFC. I said it all year long.
Jets Steelers should have beat them up too. Well, I don't know if they would have beat them 2 scores. It would have been Jets deserve that win. I mean, they were the better team. But Vikings are living up to their potential finally. We've been waiting for 3 years. Next up, we got the Chiefs and Niners. CMC is on the 49ers now. Trade that is good for this type of offense. They love running the football, and they got one of the best running backs when healthy in Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, today I'm going with the Chiefs. The 49ers still have some holes on defense at the moment. As you know, last week they had almost all of their defensive starters out. I think 7 out of 11 were out or something of that sort. Or 7 out of 22 starters were out. I can't remember what it was, but it was an insane number. And I haven't looked at their injury report, so I'm sure some of them are back. But I don't think all of them are healthy, which the Chiefs, you have to have all your firepower. You can't have any slip-ups against the Chiefs.
Yeah. Eagles got to learn how to play in the second half. The Steelers, their second half team, we're going to go there and end their streak. Oh, little hot take right there, Elite. I'm going to take the Chiefs here. I just love what Patrick Mahomes. 49ers defense, they were susceptible to the run, especially with all those injuries they had to the defense. And it's not looking great this week either. Adding CMC is going to help, but he's not going to be used as much as they'd like. He just got there. He's not going to be used as much as they want. I got the Chiefs here. I think they're going to win. But don't be surprised if it's close, if the 49ers defense, even if they're banged up, kind of force them
3-0. Then we've got the Seahawks versus the Chargers. And at the beginning of the year, I would have laughed and said the Chargers by 30. But now this Seahawks team, so the Seahawks are averaging, I don't know what they're averaging per rush, but I know the Chargers are giving up almost 5.5 yards a carry, if not more. I think it's like 5.7 yards per carry. Kenneth Walker has looked awesome so far. He's really put the pedal to the metal. So I think this is going to be a closer game than expected. I'm going to actually go out on a limb and say the Seahawks today.
Ooh.
Against the Chargers.
Geno Smith has a 72% completion, 70% completion rating, and which is the highest of any quarterback in the NFL this year. And that's crazy. He's in his 12th, 13th year, and he's doing this. Yeah, I know. And the Seahawks offense is looking explosive. They have really good receivers. They have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's probably going to be out today, though. But DK Metcalf should be able to take the load off of Tyler Lockett, even though he's out. The Seahawks offense is looking awesome. Chargers, they need to play like they've been playing the last week.
It's so sad. The Seahawks just fleeced the Broncos.
Yeah. And it's definitely looking that way. The Chargers, they were out without Keenan Allen again, probably this week. So that's not without them. Mike Williams is gonna have to step up here. I like the Seahawks offense a lot, and I like their defense. Tariq Woolen is playing so well. Kobe Bryant's playing well. A lot of people on that Seahawks defense playing well. I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. I think they'll still be able to score. I think this might be a high scoring game this week.
I think it should be.
I think Justin Herbert's gonna be able to win.
But so the thing last week, the Chargers didn't score very much against Denver. Yeah. But Denver's defense is really good compared to the Seahawks, who's not as great. So I've got the Seahawks winning, but I think it's going to be a shootout.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We gotta get an alert like that. That'd be pretty cool. He said we should get a button that click it and says upset alert. Big upset alert. Little animation. And then that is the week 7 games. Now we're going to the primetime game, Sunday Night Football. Steelers versus the Dolphins. Tua is back, I believe, this week, tonight. The Steelers are going to have to play very well like they played against Tom Brady last week to be able to stop this offense. I think it's going to look a lot different than what we saw from the Dolphins the last 2 weeks without Tua.
True, Ali. Let's talk about this for a second. We'll spend a little bit of time here. This is a big game for both teams because the Dolphins really need to take their stake in the AFC East because the Bills are going to start slipping away if the Dolphins don't get back on a little win streak. And the Jets, nobody expected them to really come out like this, but 4-2, man, that's... And they've beaten some tough teams.
Yeah, and they were one of the toughest schedules. Like, we thought they were going to be like 1 win in the first 4 weeks, and they're already up 4 wins.
I know. So, but here's some facts about this game, too. The Dolphins, 2 of their receivers are in the top 5 for receiving yards this year. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. The Steelers have given up the most passing yards in the NFL this year. That's not a good mix. But it is Tua coming back, so maybe some rust. Or maybe Tua's got a chip on his shoulder from getting his head blocked in and he's like, come out and sling it for 700 yards today.
Oh, my God.
But this is another thing, too. This Steelers offense has to produce points. If they don't produce points, this Dolphins team is going to destroy the Steelers. I hate to put it like that, but the Steelers offense has to put points on the board because this Dolphins team is not going to stay in a 9 to 10 point window. They're going to score 21 points easily against, even though Minka's back, I will say the Tylan Wallace is back. Minka Fitzpatrick should be back. So the Steelers do get a lot of key pieces back. So I don't think it's going to be an air raid like we've been seeing against the Steelers these past couple weeks, but man, the Steelers offense has to get moving.
Yeah, and it's a big thing about their big loss to the Bills. They just kept getting behind the sticks, and that's why they were down so much. And they had to consistently keep drives going. They couldn't. They went for them 4th downs when they had to, and couldn't consistently keep those drives going. Last week they got some good drives in. But if you look at that, they also went 3-0 a few times as well.
Yeah.
So they got to score more points, and they got to limit. This defense got to limit Tua and Waddle. They got to stop the big plays. It's gonna be tough because they're so fast, but the Steelers just need to be able to keep everything in front of them. Can't let Tua probe behind them. Tua, who knows what he's gonna look like? Maybe a little rusty. I don't know. But I got the Dolphins winning this one. The Steelers need to consistently score points, needs to get good drives going, get Najee Harris going, and they can win this game. But I got the Dolphins here. I think by 7 points.
Yeah, the Steelers secondary has been really beat up, but they're starting to come back. So hopefully they can keep up. Like I said, it all depends on the. I'm going to go with the Dolphins here, but the Steelers got to put points on the board in order to win this game. I don't see or defensive touchdowns. One of the two's got to happen. Like the Steelers team's got to put points on the board. And yes, Matt Canada is not a capable coach, but he's not going to be on the Steelers next year for sure. They're not going to fire him. I don't think they'll fire him. They don't fire the one thing about Pittsburgh, they have not really fired coaches during the season. So you guys are stuck with Matt Canada for the rest of the year, but he's not coming back next year. There's no way. You can't put less than 17 points on the board every single game and expect to stay in the NFL. There's no creativity with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you've watched the Pittsburgh Steelers drive, there's hardly any motion. Everything's just throwing down the field. There's no curl routes. Everything's a one-on-one matchup. If you can't win your one-on-one matchup with a rookie quarterback or Mitchell Trubisky, you're not going to do very well because they're not going to trust you to throw the ball. They don't even let their quarterbacks change the play at the line of scrimmage. That's crazy. So Matt Canada is not going to be there next year.
Yeah, I don't. Even Chris Boswell said it. Who knows if you're talking Matt Canada, but Matt Canada was happy. He just said, "Not because of you." And it just this offense is looking stale. Like you have Najee Harris, you have Chase Claypool, you have George Pickens, you have these receivers that are going out there can consistently win one-on-one matchups, even if you throw it up there. Like these guys can win jump balls, they can win short routes, they can win low balls, they can win everything that the quarterback throws to them. And to have a stale offense just doesn't look good for you.
Antonio Pickett has looked awesome. He's definitely one of our favorites, rookies, and we were glad he got a shot to play a couple games. And who's starting today?
Pickett's starting.
Oh, Pickett is okay.
Pickett.
Good.
Pickett's back. He's all.
And then let's see. You also said something about you need a QB of the future for the Vikings.
Yeah, Kirk. They need. I don't know if Kirk's gonna be there next year. He possibly could have because they don't have a high draft pick next year. They're gonna have to trade if they want a quarterback from that draft next year, unless they wait and take one of the other quarterbacks. But if they want one of the top ones, they're gonna have to trade up.
Yeah, and what do you package to trade? I mean,
both of us are wrong because the Steelers are gonna win. George Pickens is a dog. And you do have all the talent in the league. The Steelers have all the talent in the world. They just need to put it
They need some creativity on offense. That's about it. That's really it. So I've got the Dolphins here, unfortunately. Like I said, until the Steelers can produce a game where they're producing on offense, I'm going to go with the better offense because their defense can't hold them for forever.
Last but not least, the Monday Night Football game to end Week 7, Bears and Patriots. This is luck of the week. Boys win by 10 points and Micah 2+ sacks.
I can see that. I don't like the Cowboys very much, but yes, Micah Parsons against the Lions definitely has potential to get 2 sacks. And I think the Cowboys are winning that game regardless. 10 points is probably pretty fair considering the Lions got completely shut down last week. And, their defense is not that great. I mean,
they're the worst defense.
Worst defense in the NFL. So.
Yeah, Matt Corral is out this year for the season. He has the injury, Liz Frank injury. So he's not available. They might have Sam Darnold with Baker's but they really don't. I don't think they do that.
They're going
it
with
doesn't
PJ.
matter what
They're going. They have to go with PJ because, like you said, Matt Corral's out for the season. Baker's. I think he's out for a couple weeks.
So
Baker.
Yeah, he's still out a couple more weeks. They're going with PJ.
And then Sam Darnold. I haven't really heard much on him, but he's fourth on the depth chart now. He's still behind Matt Corral, and Corral's out for the season, I think. So.
Yeah. PJ Williams is starting with them. Carolina's trying to get that number one pick. They probably will get the number one pick this year. Bears Patriots. The Bears defense is playing better, playing really good. They know how to play defense. It's just that the offense to Justin Fields, they need to be able to put some points, kind of like the Steelers' offense, but struggling. The Bears are very, very struggling with Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney. Their receivers need to get separation. Their receivers need to make plays. But also, the O-line's got to protect Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You can't have him running around and have no separation from wide receivers either. It just doesn't work. That run game is the best thing working for them, so I expect them to be running the ball a lot. But this Patriots defense is very good. And if they shut down the Bears running game, I'm worried if they have to start passing it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the Patriots here. With Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones stays in the whole game. I don't think there's any benching there. I think the only way he gets benched is if he starts limping a little bit or whatever, or if they have 0 points at halftime. That's the only way I could see them benching Mac. But I don't see that happening. Mac Jones wasn't playing bad. He just wasn't playing as good as Zach.
Yeah.
So.
It's only been 2 games for Zach, too. 2.5.
And that's one thing, as a Jaguars fan, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe it was, I watched Gardner Minshew come in against the Chiefs. He went 22 for 25, threw for 2 touchdowns, I think, and no interceptions. It was one of the most accurate first games ever. But that's what happens when a rookie quarterback comes in and they don't have film on them yet. So, Minshew was a 6th-round pick. They had no film. Zappy, 6th-round pick. Nobody had film on him. So, I think could possibly be a fluke. But that's why you have to go with Mac Jones, because you know what you got with him. Teams, have film on Mac Jones, and Mac Jones is still somewhat producing. So you got to go with Mac Jones here. You spent too much on Mac Jones. Zappy was a 4th. I couldn't remember if he was a 4th or a little bit later. I thought he was later. Or maybe I'm thinking of, who was the guy that went to the Eagles?
Carson Strong?
Yeah, he was.
He got cut already. But
but he was the last quarterback, right?
One of the last.
Yeah. So I was thinking Zappy was that late too. I don't want to keep from Ohio State. I'll pass on C.J. Stroud. Me neither. I watched C.J. Stroud yesterday play. He played good, but like you said, Ohio State quarterbacks just don't pan out.
Yeah, it's just odd. C.J. Stroud's looking like the best quarterback for next year. We'll see how he does, whoever picks him. Maybe even the Panthers.
No, Carson Strong went to the Eagles. Was he undrafted?
Carson Strong went. Was he? No, I think the Eagles drafted him late, 7th round.
I do remember. I know he was on the Eagles because I remember everybody made a joke that Carsons don't work out in Philly. So because Carson Wentz and Bryce Young is the best.
Pretty cool. That's one.
I watched some good college football yesterday. Actually, I typically don't like college football because it's always one-sided for the most part, unless you get those really good conference games and stuff. When did Strong go to Philly? I thought he was drafted. I could have sworn he was drafted. I'm pretty sure he was.
Undrafted free agent, okay. He was signed by the Eagles as an undrafted free agent. But then they released him.
The Bama Tennessee game?
Yeah.
I watched that until halftime because I watched the Pat McAfee show with it. But what game did I watch? I watched SMU versus Cincinnati. That was a good game, man. It was a 3.5-point spread. It was 21-29, I think. SMU got the ball back with 2 minutes left. The receiver bobbled the ball in the end zone, and his other receiver behind him caught it. And then they went for 2 to try to tie it, and they missed the 2-point conversion. So it was a good game, though. But they missed the spread because of that. It's kind of funny.
Damn, that's crazy.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots at the end. If you guys want to like compare your picks with our picks, if you guys are doing some sort of weekly pick thing, definitely we have our video out on our channel, so definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it already. You guys can see what we picked. I think we were pretty much the same except for a few picks we might have changed today.
Yeah.
But
Wait, Elite. No, I was you said who the hell am I thinking of then? And then I was like, I don't know what you're thinking of. But yeah, well, I was impressed with Cincinnati because they had 7 picks go in the draft last year. And then this year they were playing pretty good. They had this guy, Lance Pace Jr. Dude, he looked awesome. But the Cincinnati Bearcats gave up like almost 150 yards to penalties.
dang,
That's the only reason that somebody was in the game.
that's great.
But one of the lineups, we'll share one of my lineups, one of his lineups. Mine's going to be on DraftKings for the fantasy lineup. I did 2 $5 lineups. I did 2 separate lineups. But my lineup is I've got Justin Herbert against Seattle. I think Justin Herbert's going to be able to sling the ball a good bit, even without Keenan Allen. I've got Saquon Barkley. As much as I hate to do that to my Jaguars, I think Saquon Barkley, if anybody's going to have a big game on that team, it's going to be Saquon Barkley, and it's going to be Daniel Jones on the ground. Jaguars just are not very good against mobile quarterbacks. So then we got Nick Chubb against Baltimore. I'm always going with Nick Chubb. He's my guy. Then I got Zay Jones. I think if any of the wide receivers for Jacksonville is going to have a big game, it's going to be Zay Jones. Then I've got Alan Lazard against Washington. I've got Curtis Samuel against Green Bay. Then I've got Evan Ingram, which I might change that now that I'm thinking about it because I don't want 2 Jaguar players. So instead of Evan Ingram, we're going to go with Will Dissly. I like that. Will Dissly. And then I've got Corey Davis. And then we're going to change our defense to the Packers because I think Washington's O-line is not very good. I think they're going to get some sacks, which leads to points. So we're going to save that. So that's my lineup. That fits your $50,000 limit. So that's my lineup for that.
He's got big bucks, $50,000.
Yeah.
What do you order, Elite? That's what do you order to eat? Because it's been a whole podcast and still haven't got here. God dang. Talking about the Panthers though, Pence quarterback Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold both aren't playing today. They have a chance to return next Sunday when they play the Falcons. So Baker could be back next week when they play the Falcons. I'll give you one of my. If you guys have Underdog Fantasy and play over unders, it's very simple to use, very easy to use, very cool. I think a very big opportunity if you watch football a lot to get some money.
And also, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they match your first deposit up to $100. So if you put $100, they give you $100 free to bet on. So definitely something to put in.
Yeah, so I got one of my lineups here. I went with one of my lineups for the Falcons-Cincinnati game. I did Marcus Mariota higher than 34 rushing yards. Kadel Hodge, at least 1 receiving yard. Joe Burrow higher than 285 passing yards. Alameda Zacchaeus higher than 31 receiving yards. And Tyler Algier higher than 8 fantasy points.
That's fair. If he gets a touchdown, that's golden.
Yeah.
And with Patterson now, he is pretty much the lead back. And they use the running backs a lot in Atlanta. I wish we were sponsored by them. We might get there one day, but we are sponsored by SeatGeek. So if you use our code PIPodcast on SeatGeek, you get $20 off. Isn't it 20?
20. Yep.
You get $20 off your first purchase, and your boys get some money on top of it. So
thank you to whoever used the code.
Somebody did use the code.
$10 the other day. Thank you for using PI Podcast. If you guys getting your tickets, just use code PI Podcast, no matter if it's a red purchase or not.
Yeah. I've got another lineup. This one is kind of like all over the NFL. If you put $5 in, you have and you hit, you get $100. So that's what is this? Underdog. Very good app to use. So mine is I've got Travis Etienne with over 51.5 rushing yards. He's had over 50 rushing yards the past 2 games. and they're starting to use him more. So I like Travis Etienne's rushing total here. I've got Tyreek Hill higher than 79.5 receiving yards. Again, Pittsburgh has given up the most yards in the NFL passing, so I got Tyreek Hill here. Jared Goff against Dallas, I have him under 249.5 yards passing. Then I've got Austin Eckler over rushing yards on Kenneth Walker, beating Kenneth Walker in rushing yards. And Austin Eckler also has a 6.5 point advantage to start. So that's going to be a tricky one because Kenneth Walker, the Chargers have been giving up a lot of yards on the ground. So, and then my last one, this is the risky pick, but I'm putting my faith in Trevor Lawrence to get over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You guys seen the strike Madden players are on finally doing something about EA's crap? No, I haven't seen nothing.
Yeah, they're doing kind of they're doing pack strike kind of thing. It's been going on for a while.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And EA's not budging it, but they're still doing it. So whoever's doing pack strike, I commend them. Keep it going because EA is not going to listen right now. They've actually done some things to try to counter it, like making odds better, giving people training variety packs and whatnot. But it's not enough because there's still garbage. So yeah, keep it going to get some pack strike. And hopefully EA finally budgets.
Remember, guys, update your lineups. It's a bye week for quite a few teams. Vikings, Bills, Rams. Man, I'm without Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Darrell Henderson.
Oh, man. Team is goners.
Actually, I don't have a single person on my lineup right now that's in. So, right now for fantasy, I have a full lineup in, but I had to pick up Daniel Jones, which isn't going to be that bad today.
You think he has over 34 rushing yards?
Maybe, actually. I don't know. He's kind of coming off an ankle injury. He's a tricky one. But my bench is crazy because they're all on bye weeks. Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Matthew Stafford, Tyler Bass, Darrell Henderson, the Eagles defense, and then J.K. Dobbins just got put on IR, and then DeAndre Swift is out. So I don't have a single player today. Look at my bench. It's all red. It's literally all red. I appreciate that. We are actually about to sign up as well. We're going to go probably to Buffalo Wild Wings or Dave & Buster's or something to watch the games. Trying something new. We normally watch them at my house, but we're going to try something new today.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Elite, Uno, Antonio, Tim,
What's the deal?
What's the deal? Yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to be doing this every Sunday morning. We've been going live basically almost every Sunday morning. So if you guys are looking for Week 8 predictions of Week 8 game picks, we'll have that for you Sunday. We're also going to give you guys in-depth analysis of every single game. So make sure they'll be here on Sundays. We're trying to figure out any other days for podcasts, so we'll let you guys know if that changes at all.
We're going to try to do one more podcast a week. We just got to figure out a good day that we're both available. So we are going to get back to that very soon. We just got some kinks to work out, but we'll get them, and then we'll be back. We'll be posting videos. I made a note to do the Jets video because, yeah, they're a very exciting team this year. Can't wait to go in depth on that one. That'll be fun. And then maybe for Antonio, we'll do a video on why the Packers suck this year.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll do a video on how the Saints will be better for Uno.
Or how worse they'll be. They're garbage already.
Uno is no, he's a Falcons fan.
Uno's not a Falcons. Uno's the Bears fan, I think. Oh no, Cobby's the Bears fan.
Uno's
Saints
because he was MT at first, right? Yeah. Okay. We'll get it all eventually.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PI Podcast. and on Twitter @PIPodcasters. Until next time.